Hi, thank you for clicking to watch my video. I am going to be sharing with you a video post that I posted about nearly 2 years ago of my pregnancy delivery of Vivian. There are going to be three videos, so just bear with me. My husband Damien is joining me in this video to talk about our delivery experience. There are a lot of gaps that he does fill in because I was so heavily drugged at the hospital. But here we are 21 months later, and Vivian is just growing beautifully. But this video was filmed around the time when she was 8 months old. I talk about my fibroid. I talk about some mistreatment in the hospital and just my overall experience. I'm doing this video because I want to share with others knowledge and just the experience. I know for me, I have been scared pretty much my entire life of having a baby. And that's why I've waited. This is one of the reasons why I've waited so late in life, so late in life to have a baby. And I'm also going to be sharing some other experiences with you of some friends of mine. So we'll just be talking about parent life, what's going on in the world, and how it's affecting our children. So if you would like to be a part of this little project that I have going on, then contact me on Instagram or Facebook at Becoming Vivian's Mother. But yes, I'm going to start you all off with these first three short episodes, and then from there, I will go on to other friends of mine that are parents. So enjoy.
And Vivian's sugar was low, so that's why the nursery came in because they checked her sugar level and they said pretty much we got the first 5 days to get her sugar up. And she went to the nursery to be on observation. When did she go to the nursery? That same evening. So we left the OR around 2 and we got to the recovery room about 3:30, and by 7 o'clock Vivian was in the nursery and she stayed there for about an hour. They brought her back. That's when I did the skin to skin. And they took her back again because they tested her sugar and again it was too low. So she ended up going to the NICU for about 2 to 3 days. And
thank God you were there with me because I couldn't. And Damien was able to go and sit and be with her while I couldn't. And
I just remember being back and forth, worried about Vivian, worried about Christina, and just making sure that both of them are all right. So it was a very tiring time. So if anyone here that's seeing this is going to be going through delivery anytime soon or in the next year, or you're planning to do it, just get as much rest as you can and don't make the same mistake I made because I didn't take time off of work. I waited until the time when I went back to work just afterwards, and
but usually,
it was very tiring.
If we were under different circumstances, like if we weren't going through COVID, then of course, you wouldn't have to do as much worrying because we wouldn't have family or friends coming over to visit. But because, COVID is going on, you cannot have visitors. So you can only have your husband or your partner with you, nobody else. And that was just like going to the doctor's appointments as well. Like he couldn't come in at all. So it was just me alone doing everything.
Me sat in the parking lot.
Yeah. But I remember, one day you just said, let's go visit, our child. So I put on my robe. He wheeled me to the NICU. They buzzed us in, and then we had to wash our hands for like 3 minutes before
Yeah.
entering in the nursery. And I just remember going down the hall, and it was just long corridor with different wings. And I'm just thinking, wow, all the babies, all the babies that are in, this place. And when we walked down our wing, there were so many babies. Vivian was all the way at the end of the room, and right next to her was like this whiny baby. This baby cried nonstop. Every time I visited,
That baby was crying.
this baby was crying like at the top of his lungs, and Vivian's just sound asleep, like, everything is good in the world.
I think she learned a few things from that baby though. Not too many, so that's fine. But in the NICU, they did tell us that she needs to drink about 30 ounces of milk per feeding, and that would get her levels up because she was on glucose, and they were taking her off and monitoring her to see if her sugar levels came up on their own. Um, what was actually significant to me was when I actually got Christina down there to see Vivian, and they did skin to skin and spent time together. Both of them got better at the same time. Like Vivian's sugar rose, and they monitored her for 24 hours to make sure it stays stable. And before she was released, and Christina's pain started to subside, and she couldn't walk, and then she was able to walk and function a little bit better than she was doing over the past 3 days.
And he was like, I was like, I don't care. Let me just take off her little top. And I opened up my hospital gown, and I just placed her inside of my hospital gown. And I just held her, and it just felt so good to have my baby finally in my arms. But I still felt disconnected from her. And I felt disconnected from Vivian over the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks. Not like, I just felt like she wasn't connecting or taking to me. And it just hurt every day. And it wasn't until like week 3 she actually grinned at me. Like I know you, don't worry. I remember being in our bedroom in the bed, and then the cross up on the wall. She was looking at it like she always does, and then she looked over at me, and then she just like she knew who I was. I'm like, finally, finally. So it's been good ever since. And today is week 8.
Week 8, yeah.
She's 8 weeks old now. Yeah. But
Very nice. But yeah, that's it for the delivery and how everything went.
And then it's like, of course, in the hospital, they also, if you have a C-section, they want you to walk around as well. So I did walk around, but one of my doctors came in and said, you walked from your room all the way to the NICU? That's just too far. I'm like, well, I had my my wheelchair, so if I needed to rest, I could just sit down, which I didn't need to do. I just walked slower. But everybody in the hospital was, to me, my experience, except for that one nurse, everybody was really nice. Everybody was really nice. They made it very comfortable for me. Everybody was very informative. It was, to me, it was an overall good experience, but I did worry a lot about quite a few things, and just not really being able to spend like those first few hours with Vivian and holding her. That still hurts me to this day. So it's like when I'm watching videos on Facebook or looking at pictures of women like actually holding their babies like right after birth, it does sadden me because I feel like I really didn't get to have that. I mean, I have like a few pictures, but in my mind, it's just what I guess I expected something different.
Well, expected unexpected is the best way to put it. But
And then they
she's
told
here and she's healthy.
when they told us,
That's what matters.
when they told us, she can go home. Oh my gosh, we went back to our room, packed up everything. We were like, we're tired. We want our baby home. I did not want her to spend another night in the NICU. I wanted my baby with me. And as soon as we got all of the paperwork signed, we were out of there. We were out of there with Vivian. Yeah. But that's pretty much what happened. Yeah. So we were there from Friday to Sunday morning.
No, we left there on Tuesday.
Oh wow! See, I was drugged. I really in and out. Ugh, my memory's so blotchy for those few days. Oh, remember I had that fibroid. So sometime during the second trimester. They told me, one of my doctors told me, oh, you can't have the fibroid removed because, there are blood vessels wrapped all around it and you could bleed out. And the worst case scenario, you're dead. So I knew this thing was growing inside of me. It grew to be like the size of an orange. But the next doctor that performed the C-section, he, after Damien left out of the OR, I remember the doctor saying to me, you know what? I went ahead and I just took the fibroid. That's one less thing you have to worry about. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus, because this thing started out as the size of a grape 6, 7, 8 years ago. And then sometime last year, the doctor at the VA was like, it's the size of a walnut. And then, being pregnant with Vivian, it grew to be the size of a tennis ball.
It was her pillow.
Yeah, it was her pillow that she was laying on. Yeah. So, it's helped. Thank goodness. But that's it. That was our delivery experience.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Thanks. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Splash, splash.